Sam, when we talk about the skills gap, which is still a huge concern for employers, I guess what are some of the actions, especially for those who are here listening, what are some of the actions employers can take to, I guess, counteract this? From those we've seen, we've obviously talked about some things like upskilling, but some other actions that you can maybe help with.
Yeah, so I obviously when we did our overcoming shortages report, we had recommendations for governments, but we also had recommendations for employers. Upskilling definitely really important, not just for retention but also attraction. So we have seen, because of the shortages, we've seen more employers start to, instead of looking for candidates who have 10 out of 10 in the check boxes, maybe they look at someone that has 7 or 8, but they have really good core skills and really good transferable skills, and they think it's worth bringing this person in. And then when they, put a little bit more time and investment into that person, they will hopefully then within 3, 5 months, 6 months, be at that 10 out of 10 place. So that's definitely become more more of a trend that we've seen in the last couple of years, and something that we would encourage employers to do. Also, that upskilling point is really important for keeping staff. That happy staff don't move employers; they stay with them. So, mentoring programs or management skills, or just making sure that you are putting your existing staff into skills that are relevant for the particular job and occupation, so that they feel like they can progress and develop their own skills, is really important as well. Similar to the sort of workforce planning piece on the government side, I think with businesses, we always talk about the fact that people are our greatest asset, but it's putting that into practice. So we have to look at skills as an investment and not a cost. And I appreciate that that is challenging when we've got shortages and people are moving. But you do have to do that, and you've got to take that chance that you invest in someone. And yes, they might move, but actually they might stay and they might keep developing the organisation and bringing more people in as well. Some of the other things are, we've always talked about salary, really important in that's always going to be a big factor, particularly when inflation is so high. Flexibility is something that's really important. I'm at home today. I was in the office yesterday, but hybrid isn't the option for everyone. And I think when people think of flexibility, they think remote or hybrid. And it's really important to say, for people who aren't office based, very often that's not feasible. But then what can you do if you're not in that situation? So can you offer flexi time or staggered hours, or sort of compressed hours and things like that? So there are other versions of flexible, and it's really important for employers to look at what works for them in their business. It's not going to impact their business, but will give staff a little bit extra. And then it's also just working conditions really matter. So for those particularly, I guess, who are in a hybrid setup, what does your office look like? How are you getting your staff to really want to be in the office space 2-3 days a week, whatever it might be? And making sure that your staff are part of that culture, and they're kind of brought along on the journey. So things like well-being are really important, pay and benefits, making sure that your staff as well are involved in those sort of reviews when you do them. ED&I is another really important aspect of it as well. So ensuring that not just your leaders, not just your managers, but everybody in the organisation is a sort of ED&I champion. And again, bringing your staff along on that journey is really important. And I think that gives staff a sort of stake in the business. They feel like they're involved in it. It makes them happier. They want to be there. They want to improve things. So that's really, really important as well. And one of the things that we've seen more and more, to the kind of candidate expectation point, is candidates, particularly the younger, the sort of Gen Z generation, they're really interested. They really care about things like the environment and ED&I and working for like a good employer. So lots of our members have said in the last year, they're getting questions sort of for the first time about not just what's the ED&I policy, what's the ESG policy, but it's do they have a policy? Great. What do they do? How do they implement that policy? And that is becoming more and more important for candidates, and particularly that younger generation of candidates, about what's the employer doing? Is it a good employer? Is it doing the right thing? Is it somewhere that I want to work and I want to talk to my friends and family about? And that's definitely becoming increasingly more important. So things like that are really important. And then, the workforce strategy and the plan is so important. So having a 5-year workforce plan and a kind of investment plan alongside that, looking at it annually with your board every single year, getting it signed off, making sure you're on track to deliver, that's really critical for businesses of any size to have that in place as well.